Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx, not in the DJcity UK lab today. I am at Serato Studio in London here in the UK. The Rane 72 mixer and the 12 controllers have just finally hit the market, and Serato DJ Pro, the new version, has dropped, which supports them as well. Now, I haven't had a chance to play with these at all yet. So I'm joined by Blakey from Serato. He's going to take us through all the features of this stuff, show us around it, and indeed me around it for the first time. Let's get to it. Okay, so Blakey, show us around then the 12. This is really kind of rather simple, right? There's no audio hookups. It's really straightforward and kind of stripped down. So tell us what it's all about.
That's right. So this is a Serato controller. So on the back of the 12, you've got a USB connection, and on the back of the 72, you've got two USB inputs. So you can connect both 12s to the mixer.
And then in terms of the actual performance controls on top, we've got 4 deck selection buttons, so you can choose different decks within Serato DJ Pro, right?
That's right. So you could, in theory, if you wanted to, you could use 112 and DJ off 4 decks off the one unit. So
there's obviously these aren't real turntables. There's no needle on this record. So how do you kind of skip through, as if, because you don't have the option of absolute mode. So how do you skip through a track or scrub through?
Okay, so up here, this little strip is the needle search. So you can search through the track here. And if you press the Q mode button, that now turns this into your hot cues.
Right, so if you're using hardware that doesn't have hot cues on it, you can actually still use hot cues on the 12 itself.
Exactly.
Okay, right. And then pitch, obviously pitch slider up here is in battle sort of position, and then you've got multiple pitch ranges, right?
Yeah, so you can flick it onto 16%, 50%, and there's also obviously 8%.
So you can do that kind of ultra pitch kind of scratching and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like my personal preference is to have it quite slow when I'm scratching, so I have it around here, right, which is perfect.
Cool, and if you want to go the other way, there is a 45 RPM option for people like me who love the 45s.
There is, you can go real chipmunk with this.
Okay, dope. And then, so the rest of the controls, it's just like a turntable, right? So we've got the start, stop, and then, but this is a motor off switch. Is that just like a 1200?
It is just like a 1200. Something really cool, actually, the start and stop button. So this is actually going over to the mixer now. You have a transport mode. So if you double tap the button furthest right, you get into transport mode. So you actually can start and stop the deck from the 72.
Wow.
This is also a Q button.
Right, I think like temp Q.
Exactly. Right. You can also turn on and off pitch and time, DJ. You can pitch bend up and down. So you could rock a set in internal mode using transport on both decks. Wow.
So let's move on to the 72, because the 12s are really stripped down. They're really simple, which is a good thing. You know, for hardware like this, you don't want stuff that's going to be too busy, too much going on. But the hardware, the mixer, there's a lot to talk about with this, right? So let's talk about these pad modes and what's actually on there on the pads, because the big thing I know a lot of people are waiting for on this, independent pad modes.
Totally.
Right?
So you could have your sampler on one side, and you could control the hot cues, right, pitch plates, anything else on the other side.
Whatever we want on either side.
Yeah.
And the other one's completely unaffected. That, I know that will be a big deal for a lot of DVS users in particular who really kind of want that feature. Right, talk us through some of the pad modes that we've got on there then.
Okay, so first of all, obviously hot cues. If you double tap the hot cue button, you get to pitch play. So here on the second button, you've got auto loops. So the top strip here will be your auto loops. So right now that's a 4-beat loop, that's 2, and you can actually change the parameters so that you can go further down. Double tap takes you to manual loop. Then moving over, you've got roll, and then double tap that, you've got pad effects, which is really cool. And then you've got sampler, fader effects, slicer, and then transport mode. Okay, so going into the screen. Right now we're on the effects screen. So the blue button, that's flex effects. Those are the onboard effects inside the mixer. So if we hold down this button here until it flashes, we can now scroll through the other onboard effects in the 72. And there's plenty there to get stuck into. So let's select reverb. Not only that, if you double tap reverb, all of the parameters come up. So you can customize each effect to suit your own tastes. The 3 effects above, these are your Serato effects. Now, something really cool with this mixer is that you can combine your Serato effects. You can have all 3 turned on at the same time, create your own reverbs, your own echo outs, whatever you like. And you can also have flex effects turned on as well. So there's a lot of power in this thing, a lot of capabilities. You can customize it in ways that you've never been able to before. So let's hold down the view button and that will take us into the mixer main menu. So from this main menu, you can jump into the flex effects screen, and right here, you can choose which flex effects are available. So you might not want one there, so it won't appear when you scroll through them. So for instance, you could turn off ping pong delay, so that won't be there. So not only that, the spanner next to the effect name, you can press that and it will take you into the settings. So you can adjust on hold echo, you can adjust the depth, you can adjust the feedback, the high pass filter cutoff. So also in the main menu, you've got the cut in adjust. So you can adjust the cut in for all 3 faders. So let's choose the crossfader. So you can set the cut in on the left side and you can set the cut in on the right side. So for me, I'd like it on 0. So let's set that. Let's set that. And you can also do the same with the up faders. Okay, jumping into view mode. Right now we're scrolling through my crates inside Serato. So you can scroll through your crates on the screen. You can jump into a crate. And right here you can see the track name and the BPM to the right. What you can do is you can drag down from the top of the screen and select to see more information. So now we're seeing not only the track name and the BPM, but we're also seeing the artist, the track length and the key. Also in view mode, probably my favorite part of this mixer is the fact that you can see the waveforms on the screen. Not only that, you can see where your hot cues are placed. And also, if we go into the needle search strip mode on the 12, you can scroll through the track like this and you can see it on the screen. So really more than ever, this mixer eliminates the need for you to look at your laptop much at all. Also, straight from the screen, you can turn sync on by pressing on the sync button there, hold shift and press it again and that will turn sync off. You can also key sync from the screen by just pressing the key button here. So just touching it will turn it on and off. Another key feature of this mixer is the touch effects button right here in the middle. So this is quite similar in look to the old Chaos pads. So I've got reverb turned on with the flex effects here. And what you can do is you can put your finger on the screen here, dragging it up and down affects the filter, and dragging it from left to right affects time. So you've got some really exciting capabilities there. It's going to be really interesting to see what DJs do with that.
So Blakey's given us, the official rundown of what's going on with this stuff. It's time for me to give you my actual first impressions. And this really is, I've been in the studio now for a couple of hours today. That's it. I've just had a chance to play with these a tiny bit. And honestly, I don't like to use the phrase game changer very often. It's a bit hackneyed, it's a bit played out. But I feel like this mixer could well be a game changer. The 12s You know, this is a great setup right here. They feel accurate, they feel smooth, they feel just like using a turntable. The actual accuracy of the scratching and everything else, there's no drift there. It just feels fantastic. But yeah, for me, the killer really is the mixer and this screen. No more do you need to look at your laptop really for anything. You know, maybe for searching for tracks, if you want to type in stuff and search on the keyboard, you might need to actually look at the laptop screen. But otherwise, you can have it well out of the way because you've got your waveforms there with the cue points there. You've got the overview waveform, the bigger waveform, and then you've got your tracks as well. So you can actually go through your whole library, you can scroll through, and you can go into all your different crates just from the actual screen itself. And that just is absolutely killer. Let's load up something else. And the pads feel responsive, they're nice and big size, plenty of room there. And then we get back to the screen again, like this, it's just so much. You've got the different effects options, so you can go back into your effects mode, you can select your effects, you can actually adjust the parameters for them as well. And you can do combos and all sorts of stuff. You've got your beat adjustments. And these paddles are just rock solid. They've got a great feel to them and they really do spring back really kind of hard. So that is fantastic. Everything else on the mixer, you know, on just a first impression, it just feels like a Rane mixer. You know, there was a lot of talk, you know, with Rane being bought out by In Music and everything else that things might change, but honestly, this just feels like a 62 or it feels like a 57. There's no real difference in the build quality. It still has that kind of American muscle car kind of vibe that you do get from the older Rane hardware. It just feels the same. The pots, the faders. And there's so much going on with this thing. That is the killer, you know, and the fact you can do everything independently on each side. So I can have my cues over here, I can be rocking deck 2 in an auto loop, or I can do a roll or do drop samples all the time, working with my cue points over this side. They've incorporated the pitch play perfectly as well. And for me, the killer with the 12s, again, going back to the 12s, is they do just feel like a turntable. You know, like there's no weirdness about them. They're a full-size platter. You know, I love 45s, but you know, a lot of people are gonna be much happier with a full 12-inch size platter. It's a real bit of vinyl on there. And you can adjust the tension on the top. It just feels like using, you know, a Technics 1200 or any other turntable that you are familiar with. That's what this feels like. It is pretty crazy to actually experience these and just to think that they are controllers. They are nothing but a controller. Absolutely superb. So there you go, a good look around the Rane 72 and the 12. This hardware really is rather exciting. I'm so glad it's finally actually arriving on store shelves and people are going to be able to buy it. Now, of course, I'm going to reserve judgment until I've had review units in my hands for a good while. You know, plenty of time to get to know this stuff. But as of right now, just playing with it for a couple of hours today, I'm really, really excited about this hardware. Massive thank you to Blakey and everyone at Serato for helping me out with this first look video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.